Okay, so Act 1, Scene 1. It all starts out on a dark and creepy night with some guards standing around switching watch. Then Horatio, who's an important character, so remember him, talks about how he saw a ghost. Then the ghost shows up and Horatio goes to talk to it, but the ghost gets offended and leaves. Now, these guys, they introduce a subplot, Fortinbras of Norway. So I'm going to take a quick sidebar here, talk about him a little bit, because he's kind of confusing. So Fortinbras is the name of the king who just died in Norway, and it's also the name of the young, newly crowned king of Norway. So usually in the play, when people refer to Fortinbras, they're talking about the younger one, because he's fighting the Danish, trying to take some of their land and stuff. Okay, anyway, back to the guards and the ghost of Hamlet Sr. So the now dead king comes back, and the guards are like, should we attack him, or what should we do? So they try to attack him, but the ghost runs away, and they go, well, I guess we gotta go tell Hamlet about this now. Then it's time for Scene 2. Okay, so this is where the major characters come in. You got Claudius, the new king of Denmark, Gertrude, Hamlet's mom, Polonius, assistant to the king, and Polonius's kids, Laertes and Ophelia. I'll talk about them more later. So Claudius is like, oh, we should all be sad about the death of our dear king, Hamlet Sr. Then he waits like 2 seconds, and he's like, alright, so anyway, I'm gonna marry Gertrude and become the king. Then he talks about Fortinbras a little bit, sends some messengers off to go talk to him. There's a little more court proceedings. Then Laertes, he comes up and he's like, hey, I want to go back to school. So the king and Polonius, Laertes' dad, they're like, yeah, sure, okay. Then, finally, Hamlet gets attention, and he's wearing all black. And he yells at everybody for not mourning his dad long enough, and Claudius is like, nah, you're just foolish for thinking about it so long. Everyone dies. King and queen both persuade Hammy not to go back to school, and then everyone leaves Hamlet alone, and he's like, wow, I really wish it wasn't against my religion to kill myself. My dad's dead, and my mom married my uncle right away because women are weak. Then the guards from Scene 1 show up and talk to Hammy about the ghost of a dead king, Hamlet. Hammy gets all excited and makes plans with them to go see the ghost that night. And Scene 3. So it's just Laertes and Ophelia at first, and Laertes is about to leave, and he's like, hey, Ophelia, I know Hamlet makes it seem like he likes you, but really he doesn't. And she's like, do you have any proof of that? And he's like, no, but believe me, I know. Then he's like, oh, and be careful with your virginity, sis. Don't lose it to Hammy. Then their dad, Polonius, shows up and tells Laertes to leave already. So Laertes heads off to school, and Polonius talks to Ophelia about Hammy too, saying that even though he really, really acts like he likes you, don't believe him. Then Polonius tells her not to waste any more time talking to Hamlet, and she's like, okay. Time for Scene 4! And we're back to the place where the guards first saw the ghost, except this time, Hammy is with them. They talk about Claudius drinking at night or something, and then the ghost shows up, and Hammy says this whole huge paragraph at him, but the ghost just beckons Hammy to go with him and doesn't say anything. All the guys with Hammy are like, hey, but what if he's an evil ghost? And Hammy's like, nah, so he goes after the ghost. Then the other guys debate following him, and eventually they do. Then, in Scene 5, we're still with the ghost and Hamlet, and still on the wall, but this time the ghost talks to Hammy. It's all like, ooh, I'm a ghost, come to tell you that I'm your father, ooh. And Hammy's like, yeah, I knew that. And the ghost's like, ooh, but did you know that Claudius poisoned me? And Hamlet's like, holy heck, I knew it. And the ghost's like, yes, ooh, get revenge for me. And then it leaves, and Hammy swears to get revenge. Then the other guys show up, and they're like, hey, what happened? And Hammy's like, nah, I ain't gonna tell you. And they're like, what? Please, we won't tell anybody. But Hammy's like, no, I'm not gonna tell you. So then he makes them swear on their swords not to tell anyone what they saw that night. And every other line during this part, the ghost's like, ooh, swear, ooh. And yeah, that's about the end of Act 1.